TKO Talk.
My ideal man doesn't play the drums, doesn't stay late at the bar, does what he says and says what he does not get a fancy lawyer that the other person can't afford if things get weird. My name's Gwen. I am divorced. I have 2 kids, and I will not ever regret having those 2 kids, okay? So that's really important for me to tell anyone who's listening.
Street Fighter, for me, is one of the best things ever created. I love fighting games, and I am good at fighting games. I'm probably of the skill level in the top 10% of players for most fighting games. To be clear, that's not a flex saying I could go pro. Legit pro is like 1% or less of the community, but I am whooping 90% of you. The OG Street Fighter movie wasn't a thing I disliked, but it certainly wasn't the best thing ever. At that time, I was such a gigantic mark for Jean-Claude Van Damme. I didn't even care about the questionable casting choice. Everything else about the film was just noise to me, except of course Raul Julia, who I was already aware of. It was Street Fighter, and Van Damme was in it. That was enough for me. I can still watch that film and have a hoot with it. You know, I'm also a big fan of the character Sagat, and I knew who Wes Studi was because of Last of the Mohicans, one of the greatest movies ever. So that was a little nudge in the right direction as well. I didn't know what to expect with the announcement of this new Street Fighter, and some of the names buzzing around it did have me concerned. For example, what the hell is Alexander Volkanovski doing in this? And why is the character Joe even included? I saw somebody post on X, a rather large account, trying to say that the look of Volk in the movie was heavily inspired by his look in high school, and they weren't doing it to be sarcastic. I thought that was incredibly stupid. Obviously, they didn't know who Joe from Street Fighter was. Of course, I mean, I love me some Volk, and his acting chops have been on full display ever since he introduced the character Old Man Volk, or Sleepy Volk, to the UFC. But a movie?
If you're gonna quit something this year, quit being a little bitch.
The one casting choice that has my full attention is Joe Roman Reigns Anoa'i as Akuma, and that would be because Akuma is my favorite game character of all time, of any type of game. My favorite renditions of him are the Japanese version of Street Fighter 3, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and Capcom vs. SNK 2. Other than how he looked, I wonder if Roman has the ability to throw kicks, as the dude is a beast, but he's not a martial artist. I do hope to be pleasantly surprised by his action sequences. I certainly was surprised by how good he looks in the poster promos. Now, I know there are other gigantic Akuma fans that do not like this look, and maybe they could have spent a little bit more money for some facial prosthetics on him, but Roman has the chops, the physical facial chops and the hair and the right grimacing and emoting to possibly pull it off. Roman, we're gonna have to wait and see. And I'm actually hoping for the best here. Of course, I'm a fan of Roman Reigns. Everybody knows I'm a fan of WWE, so I could be showing a little bias. But out of all the people that are not actors that are in this movie, I would probably think that Alexander Volkanovski is going to be the one that is most apparent. And I certainly believe that Akuma fans that do not like the WWE, even though video games and professional wrestling are basically bedfellows, they're gonna immediately hate this and say things like it's not their Akuma. That's okay. But the movie can still be entertaining, and there are a lot of other characters to wonder about besides Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is just one of the bigger names. I do think we have to mostly limit these expectations of how these people look in IRL, right? Because I don't want to see a CGI Akuma in a live action setting. I am willing to see how this goes. For those that don't know, Roman Reigns is a fucking savage. His emoting in the WWE should translate rather easily to film, along with the emoting of Cody Rhodes' Guile, which is also great casting in my opinion. And when I say great, I think that is the most fucking perfect casting choice you could have for Guile. Dude is Mr. White Guy Pearly White Apple Pie America, son of a common man, daddy. In the teaser, his torso looks a little wonky, but I say let's see more, because Cody is going to turn out and have some fun in this performance, at the minimum. It does look like they're gonna go a little campy and know what it is, and that is a good thing, not a bad thing. This one doesn't need to be serious, at least for me. If it was, I wouldn't mind it either, but this is just fine for me.
You know that nigga bold, his neck turned green where he wear that fake gold. Damn nigga, you know he like to get it in. Look at your friend, he's also a fake Mexican. Damn nigga. You know we move ya, both of y'all niggas kinda look like you a Goomba. Damn nigga, you know that's not enough. If I jumped on your head, I got a one up.
Another that I'm big on is 50 Cent. 50 looks so much like Balrog, it's uncanny. It almost looks like he was the inspiration for the character concept. Some people don't like 50 because they don't like rap and likely never saw the Diddy Destroyer flex acting chops. He can carry weight in film, and this kind of role isn't gonna be an uncomfortable one for him. 50 Cent is somebody I've been following since day one, since the mixtape days. I have full confidence in his ability to turn out something impactful. And as I was saying, man, there is some groaning that it isn't serious enough. I'm not quite sure what you're looking for when it comes to Street Fighter. It isn't Mortal Kombat at all. It's not Guilty Gear. It's not Injustice. With even Injustice, you could take a more serious tone. With Street Fighter, you gotta find a balance of some campy and some serious. I think they might be doing that here. I want it to be a fun film with a cohesive story. I'm guessing Alexander Volkanovsky has a bigger role than what many expect. Instead of just like a cameo, as I was saying, Joe is likely the character we go through the film with, but I am purely speculating. Some of the costumes don't look too elite, like Guile in the bar. It looked a little bit lazy. I'm willing to forgive these types of things, depending on what Act 1 looks like. As for the rest of the cast, I'm not overly against any of it. I will say I hope it isn't as campy as the OG film at this point, but it doesn't need to be super serious for me to enjoy it once again. Fighting game that needs that kind of tone would be something else, man. Like I mentioned before, or another one that comes to mind is Samurai Showdown. Something with very deep story touching on time travel, politics, wicked sci-fi, tech, big monster, something like that. Street Fighter isn't that, but it is the game that started it all. Never a deep story involved. Even in Street Fighter 6, it ain't that deep. Fleshed out, but not that deep. I like the popping colors and high contrast and the lighting in the teaser. I don't think the film will be only those dark shades and deep blacks. Could be wrong, but we could be in for some really nice set pieces. Oh yeah, and the dude playing M. Bison and Andrew Schultz as Dan Hibiki. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up still in the show along with 50 Cent.
Hey, I'm not surprised,